Moved by Councillor Elliott, second by Councillor Colwell. The Committee of the Whole convenes into the Committee of Adjustment. All in favor? Okay. And this is the first one, I believe. Okay. Monday, the 3rd, 2014, at 5 o'clock, Council Chambers, Municipal Office. The chair of the public hearing will be Mayor Bridge. Chair Bridge officially opens the public hearing. I will state any decision reached by the committee today cannot be used to set a precedent. Each application considered by the committee is dealt with on its own merits, with no applications, as to no two applications are exactly the same. The public hearing is to consider a minor variance, application file number A114, Mike and Jeanette Monroe. Chair, I'll be called on the Secretary Treasurer to state the municipal address, the legal description of the property, and proposed effect of the application.
Thank you, Mayor Bridge. The subject property is located on Lot 88, Concession D, Park Lot E, Preston Survey, Plan 61R 11808, Part 1, and is known as 73 Lawrence Street West, Harrison, in the town of Minto. There is a sketch, an air photo that was provided on your desk just to show you where the property is. The purpose and effect of the variance is to permit construction of a 185.8 square meter, 2,000 square foot accessory structure having a lot coverage of 11.53% and a maximum height of 4.7 meters, whereas section 6.1.4b, 6.1.4a, and 6.1.3 of the town's zoning bylaw permits a maximum size of 92.9 square meters or 1,000 square feet, with a maximum lot coverage for accessory structures of 10% and a maximum height of 4.5 meters. Notices were mailed to property owners within 200 feet or 60 meters of the subject lands and applicable agencies on January 22nd and posted on the property on the same date, and comments were received from the County of Wellington Junior Planner James Pickard. And he is stating that he supports the application as it would maintain the general intent and purpose of the official plan and zoning bylaw and would be desirable and appropriate for the development of the subject property. Approval of this variance should be conditional that the proposed use of the structure will be for personal storage only and not for commercial or residential purposes. The Maitland Valley Conservation Authority environmental technician Brandy Walter indicates that the MVCA has no concern for application A1/14, provided that the following recommendations are included. If a future fence is constructed on the property, a clearly visible non-lockable gate must be added at the ingress and egress route on the property, northerly property line, to provide unimpeded access to the emergency route from the subject lands. Should the above recommendation be applied, it is the Conservation Authority's opinion that the application will be in conformance with the natural hazard policies of the county official plan and section 3.1 of the provincial policy statement. Chief Building Official Terry Kuipers is here, and his report is in there as well, and he can answer questions to you as it pertains to that.
Any questions? Basically, it's pretty straightforward.
Through you, Mayor Bridge. In the report from the county planner, they talk about personal storage only.
Yep.
And then the Maitland Valley Conservation Authority, they talk about a construction of a workshop.
Okay. The way the application came in, the wording in the application indicates a storage building, whereas on the plan itself, it's just labeled as a workshop. You're allowed to have your own workshop in town for fixing your own cars or whatever, but you couldn't open like a repair garage in it. So that's
So just for personal, whatever, if you did woodworking, for instance.
Yep, you can store that
do
there.
That.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
Now we have an applicant's opportunity to present. Does the applicant want to present, or if we have any questions for the applicant? Welcome, Mike. Questions?
Just the purpose of the shed? It is strictly as a workshop?
Yes, cars are my hobby,
Okay.
and I presently have a building in Palmerston that's 2,000 square feet, so I based it on that, and I don't sell them, like I don't do business for other people, it's just for myself, so.
Any other questions? Nope. Okay, thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to address on this one? Would you like to come just forward? We're on television, you know, like, and my mother will tell me this all the time.
I'm relatively new to Harrison.
Yeah.
I've been here 3 years. I live at the end of Margaret Street.
Right.
And if I'm just certain, is it that field south of where they just built a new house there? Is it in that field, that lot 88?
Sure. Can you help with that?
Yeah, where that new house is, it's actually the other end, right, if you were to drive down Margaret Street,
Yes.
it's run right into Mike's house.
It's right down where if you go back in there, that Larry Henry has that
Yeah.
little area back there where he's got some.
Right.
It's right beside that, on that same road.
So there's a new house right here,
Yes.
and it's this property here,
And
so that's
I-
Margaret Street.
I'm right, this is Market Street here.
Yep.
I'm right here.
Yep.
So it's not this field, it's
Nope,
it's
nope,
gonna be right,
It's right at the end of Margaret Street.
gonna be right across from me.
Yep.
And those two empty lots there, whatever they are.
So there'll be three in between, this one and
Where the house is.
now.
And that's gonna be a big storage shed.
Yeah. With the house there, right?
Yeah, the house.
The house is gonna be at the front, I would assume.
Be issued at the same time for
Yeah.
both the house and the shed.
So it will be behind the house?
Yeah, it's gonna be behind the house, so it'll be back towards that empty lot, empty field. So you'll see the house, not the shed, probably.
Oh, okay, so they're building a house
Oh,
there as
yeah,
well?
yeah.
Oh, I
This
see.
is additional to the house, so they have a shop, they can work on his
Right,
cars.
right, okay,
As they say, not for sale, but for his personal use.
okay, I wasn't sure, I just didn't want a big building sitting there.
No, I see what you're saying,
Okay,
yeah, no,
okay.
no, I believe the house will be in front, I would assume, am I right? Okay, yeah,
Okay,
yeah, good.
that's fine, thank you very much, thank you.
Anybody else? Okay. Secretary Treasurer will provide a resolution of the committees to be considered. Once the resolution is carried or defeated, the notice of decision of committee adjustment is to be signed by all members.
Mayor Bridge, would you like me to read this
Yes,
resolution?
if you would, line.
The Committee of Adjustment approves the application for minor variance submitted by Mike and Jeanette Monroe for property located at Lot 88, Concession D, Park Lot E, Preston Survey, Plan 61R, 11808, Part 1, Town of Minto, known as 673 Lawrence Street, Harrison, to permit construction of a 185.8 square meter accessory structure with a lot coverage of 11.53 and a maximum height of 4.7 meters. Whereas section 6.1.4B A and 6.1.3 of the town zoning bylaw as amended permit a maximum size of 92.9 square meters with a maximum lot coverage of 10% and a maximum height of 4.5 meters for an accessory structure, with the following condition: that if the applicant constructs a future fence along the northerly interior property line, it contains a visible non-locking gate at the emergency ingress and egress route.
I think,
May I just
yes.
ask for a little amendment saying that it is for personal use? Is that in there?
Well, if I may,
Yeah, that's,
it is in the zoning now, so it,
Okay,
yeah, nobody can have one like that.
all right, thank you. And I'll second it.
I had Deputy Mayor, okay, so it's,
Oh, okay, sorry.
Mary Lou. And, okay, all in favor? Okay, thank you.
Mayor, we can sign that.
Yeah, Mary Lou can sign that one.
And Mayor Bridge, if you were to read number 10,
Mhm.
then we shouldn't adjourn the public hearing because we're gonna go into another
Exactly,
application.
yeah. Okay, so we're just
If you
gonna,
read number 10, then we can move on to the
Yep.
next one.
okay. Anyone wishing to receive a copy of the notice of decision, please sign the request for notice of decision prior to leaving the council chamber following the meeting. So everybody's, yeah, okay. All right,
So if we, Mayor Bridge, if I may, if we move on to the next public hearing, which is for the, Martin application, A2. 1 and 2, you don't have to read again, so we move right into the description of the application.
And I'll just turn that over to you.
Subject property is, this is an application by Mary Berenger and applicant Eli Martin, A2/14. Property is located at Lot 16, Concession 14, 6343, Highway 89, Clifford, Town of Minto. Purpose and effect is to permit construction of a 278.7 square meter, 3,000 square foot accessory structure with an interior side yard and rear yard setbacks of 1.52 meters or 5 feet, whereas section 6.1.4B and 6.1.2C of the town zoning bylaw, as amended, permits a maximum size of 111.48 square meters or 1,200 square feet for an accessory structure and requires a minimum interior side yard and rear yard setback of 3 meters or 9.8 feet. Notices were mailed to property owners within 200 feet or 60 meters of the subject property and applicable agencies and staff, and posted on the subject lands January 22nd. Drainage inspector and fire chief reported no comments or concerns. Wellington County Junior Planner James Pickard, comments are attached. The request for an accessory structure which exceeds the minimum size requirements appears to be minor and maintain the general intent and purpose of the official plan and zoning bylaw, and would be desirable and appropriate for the development of the subject property. Staff is not supportive of the request for reduction in the rear yard and side yard setbacks. The lot was recently created, and at 1.29 hectares, 3.2 acres, there is adequate land to site or set back the building in accordance with the minimum required 3 meter or 9.8 foot. Further, the applicant has not demonstrated a need for this reduction. From the Saugeen Valley Conservation Authority, Environmental Planning Technician Jennifer Prenger. The application has been reviewed in accordance with the Saugeen Valley Conservation Authority's mandated policies, and the authority is of the opinion that this application for minor variance appears to conform with the relevant policies of the county official plan and provincial policies. This minor variance application is acceptable to the Conservation Authority. Chief Building Official Terry Kuiper's comments are also attached, and he's also here for this application and can summarize his report.
Yeah, basically you've got my report. They're looking for an accessory structure larger than what's permitted. I would just like to note that approval of the minor variance will not allow the applicant to operate a business out of it or as a hobby barn. So it's strictly gonna be for storage. So just, yeah, just to throw that out there. And yeah, based on the planner's comments, they appear not to be in favor of the setback, decreasing it to 5 feet from roughly 10. You do have the option of approving half the minor variance, like one of the two items. So just, if you're leaning that way, doesn't mean the whole application's gotta go south because they don't like one component. So that's all I'd like to say. If there's any questions.
Is the applicant here?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. I was just going to ask if what he thinks of the setback. I'll wait till
That's
he comes up.
Wait till that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to ask you what your opinion is on the setback.
There's sufficient room. In front of it, there is the septic system, and he does have to stay 16 feet away from it. But I think there's enough room to move it out 5 feet. However, if you opt not to approve it that way, I don't think it's a big deal either. It's kind of, yeah, fairly big property, and 5 feet give or here or there.
Minor variance or not a minor variance matters little.
Well, it does matter. Like I wouldn't issue a building permit, but
yeah.
the whole like view of the property, everything like that, how it's gonna function, whether the shed's here or it moves 5 feet into the property each way, to me, I don't think is a big deal either way.
Right.
So. All right, thank you.
Would the applicant like to come up and, obviously there's gonna be a question here for you.
Yes. My question is through you, Mayor Bridges, is are you okay with moving the setback back
Yes, I
to
think so.
9.8?
Yeah.
Okay.
So, basically, we just do the one half of it, and then it goes on. Okay. Anything else? You want to ask the applicant? No? Good. And then, does anybody want to speak? Mr. May, please direct your question. Anybody else want to speak on this?
Mayor Bridge, then I have two resolutions. The first is to approve the application in part, and that would mean that he would have to comply with the 10-foot setback.
Right.
And the second is to approve it in full, which means he would be granted the variance to a 5-foot setback. So if you could give me an idea which one you'd like me to read, I'll read one.
Yeah, need a motion.
Well, I would make the motion that we agree to what the planner has recommended as far as setbacks go.
Okay, so that's,
No, second that.
second that motion, all in favor of that? Okay, then read that one.
Want me to read it? Okay.
Well
That
prepared.
committee partially approves the application for minor variance submitted by Eli Martin for property located at Lot 16, Concession 14, 6343 Highway 89 in Clifford, Town of Minto, permitting construction of a 278.7 square meter or 3,000 square foot accessory structure, whereas section 6.1.4B of the town zoning bylaw permits a maximum size of 111.48 square meters or 1,200 square feet for an accessory structure with the following conditions. The applicant obtains a permit from the Saugeen Valley Conservation Authority prior to issuance of a building permit, and further that the applicant relocates the proposed structure in compliance with the required setbacks.
And who moved that, Counselor?
Just like that.
Counselor Caldwell, Counselor Fisk. All in favor? Carried.
So Mayor Bridge, again, if you read
That last bit?
number 10, we can move on to the next one.
Right. Anyone wishing to receive a copy of the notice of decision, please sign the request of notice of decision prior to leaving the council chambers following the meeting. Okay. And we're moving on to number 10, I believe you take over from here. Secretary Treasurer.
Mayor Bridge, we're on application A4 for Hartley and Jesse McCard, applicant Troy McCard. Property is located at 5364 Highway 9, Clifford, part lot 63, concession C. The purpose and effect of the application is to permit the existing 119.56 square meters or 1,286.98 square foot accessory structure to remain, whereas section 6.1.4B of the Corporation of Town of Minto zoning bylaw permits a maximum size of 102.19 square meters or 1,100 square feet of accessory structure on the subject property. Notices were mailed to property owners within 200 feet or 60 meters and applicable agencies on January 22nd and posted that same day on the property. Staff were circulated and comments came back from the drainage inspector and fire chief with no concerns. The County of Wellington Junior Planner James Pickard, who stated this application would maintain the general intent and purpose of the official plan and zoning bylaw and would be desirable and appropriate for the development of the subject property. Approval of this variance should be conditional that the proposed use of the structure will be for personal storage only and not for commercial or residential purposes. Saugeen Valley Conservation Authority comments. They're stating, there's a couple of them here. Saugeen Valley Conservation Authority has reviewed the proposed minor variance in accordance with the authority's mandate and policies, and the memorandum of agreement between the authority and the County of Wellington. They provided comments in November of 2013, and we're to refer to that for more detail, sorry. All the plan review functions listed in the agreement have been assessed with respect to this application. Authority is of the opinion that the application for consent appears to comply with the relevant county official plan policies, provincial policies referred to in the agreement. Also comments from the chief building official, and there he is.
Really not a whole lot to add on this one. Like it was mentioned, the property is undergoing a severance, and basically the building complies with the size of the property currently, but as soon as they do the severance, then it's going to be too large for the retained parcel. So this is just to legalize the existing shed. Any questions?
Questions, Terry? Nope. The applicant want to speak to it, or is the applicant here? No? Good. Yeah, don't stir the pot. Oh, wait. Okay. title it resolution.
Mayor Bridge, the Committee of Adjustment approves the application for minor variance submitted by Hartley and Jesse McCart for property located at Part Lot 63, Concession C, 5364 Highway 9 Clifford, to permit existing 119.56 square meter accessory structure to remain, whereas 6.1.4B of the zoning bylaw permits a maximum size of 102.19 square meters of the accessory structure on the subject property. Was a condition recommended by the planner that it be used for personal use only, but as I said with the previous one, that's in the bylaw anyway. The only reason you might consider it in this case, it's really big, but it's not in the resolution.
All in favor? There you Where do you want that? There you go.
Just initial the change. Mayor Bridge, now, if you could read
Yeah, read that last
9, 10, and 11.
one. Right. Secretary Treasurer will provide a resolution for the committee to consider. Once the resolution is carried or defeated, the notice of decision of the committee adjustments be signed by all members of the Committee of Adjustments in favor of the decision. Anyone wishing to receive a copy of the notice of decision, to please sign the request of notice of decision prior to leaving the council chambers following the meeting. Officially now adjourn the public hearing. Where are you going? Oh, the public is gone. All gone.
There goes the public.
Oh, where are you going?
Back.
Okay. Too much coffee.
We have to wait for Ron.
You have to wait for Ron, eh?
I would've been gone before.
All right. Oh, don't be talking to anybody.
Mayor Bridge, since you don't have a quorum, we
I know,
Like, can I go
pretty
to-
scary.
better hurry up.
Go ahead. Anybody else need one? We're good.